everyone. My name is Marilee Burnett. I am your tarot reader and astrologer. Back again this week with the messages for the week of August 28th of 2023. And we have a jam-packed week ahead with lots of shifts and changes and a big giant blue moon, which means a second full moon within the same calendar month that occurs in the sign of Pisces. And that is the event that I will be drawing a tarot card for each sun, moon, and rising sign. If this is your first time to my channel, thank you. Would you please be so kind as to subscribe, give this a thumbs up, give me some comments in the section down below, and I will get back to you. Also this week we have, to begin with, a big shift of the planet Mars moving into the sign of Libra. Now we've been talking a lot about Libra energy because the South Node entered there in the middle of July, and that South Node is karmic debt, things that we are moving away from, lessons that we should have learned in a past life and hopefully are not repeating them in this life. And Libra is a sign of justice, so I could just have to honestly say we've definitely been seeing a lot of legal issues going on, especially since mid-July, so that's no surprise. We've also seen the dissolving of a lot of relationships, which is another thing that the South Node is known for as it moves in through the sign of Libra. Now with Mars in Libra, we're seeing a lot of passion and motivation as far as relationships go. So it is a good time for creating partnerships. It's a great time for rebalancing partnerships that you're a part of. It is a really good time to get very aggressive as far as any type of legal work that you are doing. So expect a lot of activity as far as relationships go, especially those people who are famous and in the spotlight and their relationships. So it's going to be a busy 6 weeks as far as seeing Mars. And as it first enters and sits at this 0 degrees at the beginning of this week, expect there to be an uptick at that same time. We also will see the planet Uranus start its retrograde. Now these outer planets, as they go through retrogrades, it's not as impactful as, say, a planet like Mars or Mercury or Venus, which is the faster moving planets. We really notice those shifts. These outer planets we notice more on an internal level. However, Uranus is the unexpected surprise planet. So those types of things that Uranus rules can be really surprising, especially as it's changing motion to make this big turn where it looks like it's going retrograde. Of course, planets don't actually go in any different direction. Just their view from Earth makes them look like they're going backwards. But Uranus is inventiveness, it's outer space, it's astrology. It is, I call it nutty professor energy. It's just really eclectic and interesting and surprising and unexpected, and electricity and lightning bolts. And when it goes retrograde, things can go a little bit haywire. So that might be how the week begins and feels, especially with the fact that Mercury's been at an almost complete standstill all week. From last week into this week, slowly turning and gaining momentum and beginning to get some traction. So as the two of them are mucking things up, I would just be real cautious with your electronics this week, and backing things up and just being really cautious with doing any work around electricity. Then we have Venus slowing way down, and that planet will end its retrograde on the 3rd. all that work you've been doing over the past 3 weeks with Venus, there is some culmination point as the planet sits still and gets ready to end its retrograde, and then spends the next 3 weeks helping you decide what it is that you're going to do with what you've been learning. At almost the same time, Jupiter is completely at a standstill, and it will start its retrograde on the 4th, and it will remain retrograde all the way through the end of the year. And I've been talking about this retrograde for months now because I feel like it is an extremely important retrograde, and we are about to see so much more of the story that began with Mercury back in April, May, when it went through these exact same degrees. And Jupiter will make it all the way back to 5 degrees of Taurus. And it's that 5-degree mark where we have the second full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus at the end of October. Pay attention. Whatever Jupiter is trying to show you, whatever blessings Jupiter is trying to bring you, this may be a moment where you begin to see what that is going to be about for you. So pay close attention to the house that this is occurring in based on your rising sign, as that may have a big clue as to what your lessons and then blessings may be. So that's already a lot going on. And then to top that all off, we on the 30th have that full moon in the sign of Pisces. Now, Pisces is the last astrological sign, right? There's 12 signs, there's 12 houses, and Pisces is that last one. So this is a true culmination, a true full circle moment. This is something coming to fullness, something coming to an end. I was thinking about, what's a really good way to describe the full moon energy, because I get asked a lot. Is it bad? Is something terrible going to happen? Is something going to end that I don't want to end? And I'm like, every situation is unique, right? But when you think about a full moon, sometimes it's easier to think about a glass of water. And when we start, the glass is empty. That's a new moon. There's no light, there's no water, right? Moons rule over our emotions. And then as we begin to fill that cup up, a quarter of the way, there's our quarter moon. The moon is half full. And when it is half full, it is causing us to stop and look at what we're trying to create, right? It stops and it squares the sun and says, hey, you set some goals for yourself, sun and moon. Are you in alignment? Are you pursuing the things that you're supposed to? And then we fill the cup all the way up. And when it's all the way full, that's a full moon. Nothing more can fit in there. So something's ending, some goal of yours is completed, and whether something ends related to this energy or a goal is achieved, it just very much depends on what's going on in your personal chart and your personal life, and how are you utilizing the energy? What kind of goals are you setting with each of these moon events? So 6 months ago, you had a new moon in Pisces. What house did it happen in? And what type of intentions were you setting? That's what matters. Then as we are done filling up our cup, we're ready to drink from it. And as we drink from it and the water drains from it, just like the light drains from the moon, we get down to that 3/4 square. Again, a moment where we pause and reflect on the goals and the actions that we've taken. And then when it drains all the way out, we're back to the new moon again. So it's a cycle and it keeps repeating. And the more you fill it up with water, the more you drink the water out, and you can keep filling it up and drinking it out. And we do that 12 times a year and sometimes 13. And that means one of the months of the year has to have 2 full moons. That is this one on August 30th of 2023, where we have the Pisces full moon, making it a blue moon. So there is a lot going on with this moon event, of course. We have the Moon at 7 degrees of Pisces, as you would imagine, since it's a Pisces full moon. And standing across the sky, of course, we have the sun at 7 degrees of Virgo. This is a time for balance. Of course, anytime we have opposing energy, they can push against each other, they can pull against each other. And your goal ultimately is for there to be balance between these two different energies in order for you to be able to know how to best utilize both. So the sun shines a light from Virgo and says, hey, I want you to think about these things as far as Virgo goes, Pisces, because Pisces, to be whole, right? You need to be learning from your Virgo energy as well, right? If we only focus on one thing, we don't have good balance. Virgo brings structure, it brings details and facts, it's organization, and it's health, physical health. Pisces is mental health, it's also healing, and it is our spirituality, it is our creativity, it's our artistry, spirituality, your connection to the spirit world. So all things that don't have boundaries, that you can't see, but you know they exist, those are all things Pisces related. And then the 12th house is things like large institutions where you can easily get lost. You can get trapped in there, even hospitals and prisons. So those are the things that we're working with. It can be a large organization that you're a part of. You might have a creative project that you've been trying to launch, and now you're finally ready to launch it, right? If you're working on subconscious blocks, because that is the 12th house, you're ready to end those. So how will the full moon showing up for you? Depends on how you focus your energy and attention on it. At the time of the full moon, Saturn is sitting right next to the moon. Saturn is serious business. Saturn has been in the sign of Pisces since I think about March, and it has been going retrograde. And now the moon sits at about the point where Saturn actually began its retrograde journey this year. So there can be some piece of the work that you've been doing since Saturn went retrograde in the middle of June. This may be one of the chapters that comes to a close at this time as a result of what you've been doing. Saturn is what we call a malefic planet. It is harsher with its energy. It is, a teacher. It is, we call it kind of grandpa energy. They know it all, and you should be listening to what they tell you to do. And when you do, Saturn will reward you. When you fight with Saturn, Saturn will not reward you, and you will not like your endings. So it's really important that you tune into your intuition. Pisces is a very emotional, very intuitive sign. So utilize those emotions and pay attention to the lessons that are being brought to your attention and follow through. It's the most important thing you can do with this full moon, with Saturn sitting there, is follow the rules, follow what you're being taught, and execute on it flawlessly. That is what Saturn wants to see. Then we have a whole lot of other energy going on. I'm going to encourage you to read my article. I'll put the link down below because it will go much more into detail, and it's sometimes easier to have even that to reference so that you can read over the information again. You can also always get these by subscribing to my website. Then you receive my newsletters as soon as I mail them out. And I try to mail things out to you about once a week, so don't worry that I'm not going to spam you every single day. But what's interesting in some of these events that are occurring with the other planets around this time is that we have, speaking of Mars, this inconjunct energy to Saturn. So Saturn is what we call the brakes, right? It's telling you to slow down, pay attention, follow the rules. And then you have Mars, the gasoline, just saying, nope, let's go for it. And so the two of them trying to work together, but not very well. So you know what happens in a car if you're trying to work the gas and the brake at the same time. It is hard to move things forward. And if things do move forward, they're going to move forward in kind of really weird, odd, unexpected ways. So there is something relationship-wise as a result of this full moon that could change unexpectedly. And that is something to be aware of and to watch out for. And it also is a cautionary tale, right? Don't try to rush into any relationship at this time because it will not go as expected. I wouldn't recommend trying to finalize any kind of legal contracts, nothing like that. Buy yourself some time, have the meetings, get the information, go over it in detail, but I would not finalize anything this week. Especially wait until Mercury is done with its retrograde on September 14th, and we have that new moon in Virgo. Much better time for new beginnings and contract completion. All right. There are no other planets directly at that 7-degree mark. So I am not going to spend time going over the rest of them. Like I said, feel free to go take a look at my article to get all of the details. And then, of course, we are going to draw a card next into the tarot portion of this video. So hang on tight and we'll get right to the cards. All right, so I have shuffled our cards. This is a Radley Valentine deck with the angel guidance for our full moon in Pisces. And as usual, we shall get started with the sign of Aries. Oh, Aries. So if your goal has been about a soulmate relationship, then the good news is when you see the Two of Raphael, which is the Two of Cups, then this is going to be a really beautiful time where you are open to connecting to one another. Maybe you're getting ready to bring your relationship to some kind of new level. Now, for you, this will be happening in your 12th house. So when you have things that happen in the 12th house, it could be that somebody who has feelings for you is going to share those feelings with you and bring them out into the open. Or your relationship in some way has been hidden and now you're ready to bring it back out into the open as well. So that can be a very interesting week ahead for you. Do let me know in the comments how that goes for you. Taurus. The New Beginnings is our first major arcana card this week, and this is traditionally called the Judgment card. And so this is exactly what that means. This is a time where you are being measured against the things that you are doing as far as your Piscean goals and work goes. So what did you set as your goal 6 months ago at this new moon in Pisces that we had? What was it that you said that you wanted to begin, be open to, connecting to spirit? Are you listening to your guidance? If so, then the wonderful thing about New Beginnings is then you've achieved your goals with this full moon and you are ready for something new, a new challenge, a new purpose. So this can be a really beautiful moment, and if you've gotten off path, then this is going to be a time where you can get redirected. Now this happens for you in your 11th house. This is your friends and networking groups. So if you've been working on a project with friends or a project with a group, then your project is ready to be completed. And that project might have something to do with music, arts, anything that really has been touching you and others emotionally is ready to come to a close at this time. Now, this is the number 2, just like the previous card, and 2s are about balance. So there is a really important opportunity this week for you to restore balance in your life. In Gemini, you have yet another major arcana card. This is traditionally the Hermit card. In this, it is Epiphany, and it's the number 9. So strong energy related to bringing things to a close for you. Now, this can be that somebody shines a light for you on a current way that you've been thinking or communicating, writing, teaching, all things that are Gemini related, traveling, local travel specifically. But this aha moment, right, which is what an epiphany is, comes to you as a result of all of this energy that's associated with this full moon. Now, it happens in your 10th house. So there could be something about your career, perhaps a path that you thought you were headed on. The Hermit is often shining a light for those who are walking a particular path. And because of this person shining a light for you, you have a complete change of mind as far as what you thought you wanted to do with your next career move. And so you just may suddenly completely change your mind and change direction because of an interaction that you have with somebody really important this week. So that could prove to be very interesting. Cancers. You have the Knight of Ariel, also known as the Knight of Pentacles. Now, this could be a financially beneficial time for you when you end whatever this is that you've been working on. The benefit to is financial, and someone may literally come in and offer you a financial reward. As you see this, they are watching over you and they're watching over your finances. So you're protected financially right now, which is, of course, really good news. The Knights carry the energy of the One, which will bring you a new beginning as long as you let whatever this needs to end. It's happening in your 9th house. So the 9th house is the house of growth and expansion. You may have been taking college courses. You may have been traveling overseas. There is something that you've been doing that it's basically time to be done with. That 9th house can give us a real passion for learning, but almost too much, where we never apply what we've been learning. We keep thinking we need to know more and more and more and more and more before we can possibly be thought of as credible. But it's time for that to end. It's time for you to let go of your imposter syndrome. It's time to apply what you've learned and allow yourself to benefit financially. Leo. Seems like somebody always gets the 7 of Michael, no matter what deck I'm using as I do the reading. So the 7 of Michael, or 7 of Swords, is a cautionary tale. And it is suggesting that you may have been fighting for something that is not meant for you. There may be people around you who are being deceptive. There's definitely a better way. So whatever you're fighting for, wherever your head is focused, all these thoughts that are running through your mind, you could just be completely on this argument with yourself that never ends. Something about that needs to come to an end today. And it's time to really get quiet. That 7 energy is about inner reflection, so that you can just kind of stop the swirl and the drama and take a real honest look at what's going on, why, and what you can do to change it. This is happening in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is the house of death and transformation, not physical death, but metaphorical, right? Something major in your life is ready to come to an end so that you can start all over, and whatever this is representing for you can be rebuilt back stronger than ever before. So, Leos, this is about finances. That could be debts that you have. It could be your partner's income, but something indirectly is affecting your finances as a result of this full moon, and somebody may not be being honest as far as finances go. So you really need to pay attention and get into the details about whatever's going on. This is a really important week where you can't just focus on fun. You've got to do some serious work here and make sure you're not getting taken advantage of. Virgos. Another 7 energy. I always find it fun that we get the number 7 as far as the degrees, and then I see it show up multiple times in our readings as well. Now, with the 7 of Pentacles, you are actually advised to just be patient and wait, because some seeds that you planted probably 6 months ago at the time of the new moon are growing, but they aren't fully ready yet. They are almost there, and you just need to be patient just a little bit longer for this full harvest of whatever this is for you to happen. Now, for you, this of course also happens in your 7th house. So we've got a lot of 7 messages for you. And when you have a repeated number like that, that is considered an angel number. And so again, the 777 is your guides that are protecting you and really want you to get quiet and go within so that you can hear what this message is about for you. So 7th house, are you concluding a serious relationship or business partnership, or are you meeting someone so that you can create one? So obviously this depends on whatever else is going on and how you set those intentions 6 months ago, but something about your serious relationships is going to require some quiet time in order for you to realize the full potential of this partnership and give it its due time instead of trying to rush it and make it happen. There's more to be seen here, and this might just be the beginning of that story. Libra.
One moment.
We have another major arcana card. This is divine guidance, and it is also considered the Hierophant card. So when we're seeing this card, we are seeing an opportunity for some formal structure, and I would call it something traditional to enter into your life. So it's a major event, major arcana card. The number 5 signifies change happening. And of course, you're going through a lot of change with the South Node going through your sign for the next year and a half, and for the next 6 weeks with Mars entering in your sign. Things are about to get really busy. Since this full moon happens in your 6th house, things might be getting really busy as a result of work, as a result of health. This is a house that rules our day-to-day activities. You could be completing a major project, and maybe the completion of that project brings you a significant amount of recognition. Or maybe it says that you just aren't feeling fulfilled at the work you do anymore, and you're looking for more structure and more purpose in your life at this time. And you may decide because of that, you are walking away from a career that you just never imagined you'd be willing and ready to leave, but now just might be the time. Scorpio. Well, this is wonderful energy. When you get the Three of Gabriel and the Three of Wands, traditionally, this is a time where you are being rewarded. This is your ship coming in. So all the work and effort that you have made, everything that you've put your passion into is returning to you now. And there's a wonderful payout involved. The three energy is about our creativity. It's connecting to our creator and taking our creative gifts and using them in a way that is rewarding us. So that's a really great energy to have associated with this full moon. So it happens for you in your fifth house. This is, again, something that you're truly passionate about. It could be a romantic partner. It could be children. It could be a hobby that you are now ready to turn into something bigger, something more. And now's a really good time to put the finishing touches on it and get ready to reap the rewards from all the hard work that you've been putting in so far. Definitely a good heartfelt moment with this full moon. Sagittarius. The wonderful, beautiful 10 of Raphael, also known as the 10 of Cups. So there is something great and wonderful happening within your home and family. This is an emotional completion. Your cup is full, as I mentioned earlier, and emotionally feeling very full. That 10 energy for you is going to bring truly something to completion, and as a result of it being completed, a new beginning is offered to you. Now, since this also happens in your fourth house, again, well, there's something really important. So are you thinking about having kids? What are you doing to bring fullness to your family life? Is it the goal of buying your first home together? Is it about being able to buy a bigger home? Are you thinking about moving, remodeling? There's something that has you feeling really good about home and family at this time. So this should be a really exciting week. And maybe because that sun's shining in line from the 10th house for you, there is some bonus or raise happening for you that's allowing you to achieve some goals at home. Capricorn. Some more 3 energy, but this time it is the major arcana card of the Empress. So this is about you giving birth to some wonderful creative opportunity. Again, this could be about the birth of a child, the birth of a creative project. This is something that you have been caring for and nurturing and feeding and bringing to life. So whatever this is, it's going to feel pretty fabulous. And again, you're connected to the energy of source. So whatever this is that you've been created is something that you've been guided to do. And as a result of following through on the guidance, then there's, a really big, beautiful moment that can happen for you. Now, interestingly enough, we have another sign that is following with 3 energy. So this 3 and the number 3 for your house are coming together. So 3 is your local community. It is your siblings. It's extended family. It's transportation. It can be education. It's all things that Mercury rules. So there is this new creative opportunity. Maybe you're doing something with a sibling and there's a new business that you guys are bringing together. Maybe you're doing something for homeschooling. Could be any one of a number of ways that this is showing up for you. And maybe you're deciding to go back to school in order to bring whatever this creative idea you have is to life. Aquarius. The Queen of Raphael, also known as the Queen of Cups, could have you interacting with your mom in some important way this week. It's definitely a woman who feels energetically like a mom, caring, nurturing, loving, very open and positive, supportive, and emotionally, helps you really feel cared for. The energy of the court cards, of course, is the number 1. So again, whatever this ending is, whatever's coming to fullness for you will end up in a new beginning. So whenever we have cups energy, it's emotions, intuition. Make sure that you're listening. Or this woman in particular who is very intuitive, make sure you listen to her guidance, because she definitely knows what she's talking about, and she definitely has your best interests at heart. Now, those might have to do with a job opportunity, because this full moon happens in your second house of the money that you make. So there is some goal that you're about to achieve in this area, and maybe this woman plays a role in whatever that is. Last, but of course not least, we have Pisces. So Pisces, this of course is your full moon, and you have the Ace of Gabriel, the Ace of Wands. So there is a new passion about to be born out of this full moon for you. Now, in your first house, right, this is you, right? You shining a light, you having something that you're passionately pursuing, and others will see your passion. That's the whole point of the first house. It is how others see us. So as you have a full moon in your first house and you're completing a personal goal, it has you feeling amazing, right? Ace of Gabriel, Ace of Wands is the hand of God coming down through the clouds and handing you the wand, right? It's like, this is your time. If you've ever ran the relay, you've just been handed the baton, and it's your time to take off and run with the wind. So this should be a really amazing full moon for you, and I can't wait to hear how it goes. All right. As usual, very interesting cards that I look forward to. I'm as curious each week as I hope all of you are to see how the week ahead will turn out for you. Now, if you need more help getting guided through this full moon, wondering how to set yourself up for success, of course, you can always book a session with me. I'll have the link for you down below. And think about, emotional endings. Is there energy attached to how you feel emotionally? Is there emotions that are draining too much of your energy? What do you want to set your intention to, let go of, to agree to be full of, right? And you don't have to just sit around and wait for things to happen to you, right? You're supposed to be a partner with this energy and work with it, set intentions, and then together you will create what you want instead of sitting around and letting somebody else hand you other opportunities that may not match what your expectations were. So, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for listening to this till the end. And if you would be so kind again, please subscribe, please like my channel, please make comments. It helps me reach more people, and that's always my goal, is to help as many people as I can with these messages. So I truly appreciate your support and partnership with me on my journey. I hope you have an amazing full moon in Pisces, and I look forward to talking with you all again next week.